Hi guys, this is Dr. Anna Kute, Dr. A for short, your instructor for It's All About Sleep. Today we're going to talk about the sleep stages. So, there are two main sleep stages. We have the REM stage and the non-REM stage. Now, when you have a sleep study, there are two types of sleep study you could get. It could be a home sleep study or an in-lab sleep study. A lot of home sleep studies do not show the different stages of sleep, but the in-lab sleep study will typically show the different stages. Now, your non-REM sleep is divided into non-REM 1, non-REM 2, and non-REM 3. Prior to now, or before now, we had the non-REM stage 4, but that no longer exists. Now, on your sleep study report, you're going to see these different stages as letters. So they would appear as N1, N2, N3, and REM. Or, yeah, they would say REM. Now, you would also see another stage, not sleep this time, but it will be labeled as W. It stands for wakefulness, okay? So we're going to look at all of those stages, talk about how things could change across different age groups, and what you need to know about those different stages. Now, this is going to be a really basic class. You're going to know what enough to be able to tell what goes on in each of these stages, but there is a lot more about these stages that I will not be talking about, okay? That would be more for an advanced class. So let's start. Now, before I go into the different stages, I want to say that during a normal sleep cycle, people typically go 4 to 6 times of all of these stages, and each of the sleep cycles could last as long as 90 to 120 minutes. This sleep cycle is shorter in little babies, could be closer to an hour. Let's start with stage W, right? The wakefulness stage. So, when you lay down to sleep, there is a time period before you eventually fall asleep, and that's your wakefulness stage. Now, you could be there laying down with your eyes open or your eyes shut, but you're still awake, okay? People typically spend about 5% of their total sleep time in this wakefulness stage. And if you're sleeping for about 7 hours, which is what is recommended, or a minimum of 7 hours is recommended by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, then that would be around 20 minutes. So always give that room of about 20 minutes to fall asleep, and that should be okay. Now, moving on to the non-REM stage. So in stage N1, that's where we're going to start with. This occupies also about 5% of sleep time in adults, okay? And non-REM stage amount stays about the same throughout different age groups. This would be your light sleep. This would be the stage where someone could easily tap you and you could wake up, or some noise could bother you. And this is about 5%, okay? Now, moving on to N2. So this is the stage that most of you may have heard about. It's characterized by what we call the K complexes and the sleep spindles. Now, people spend a significant amount of time in this stage. About 50% of the total sleep time is spent in this stage, N2. Okay, it also stays fairly constant across different age groups. Moving on to N3 stage. Now, entry stage is where we would consider to be the deep stage, the refreshing stage of sleep. And in previous lectures, we talked about a lot of things that happen in N3. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here as well. And if you missed those classes, do well to go back and watch those classes. Now, People spend about 15% of their total sleep time here, and this would be for young adults. Okay, young adults would spend about 15% of their total sleep time in the stage N3, and people over 60 years of age would spend about 5% in this stage. Children typically spend more than 15%, and that is because they need this stage of N3 for growth and development. And so, if you have a child, it is crucial for you to ensure that they're getting enough sleep so that they can get enough amount of N3 stage that can help with their growth. And if you want to know more about age requirement for children, I'm going to talk about that much later. But if you would like to get ahead of the class, you could go to my YouTube and watch that video. My YouTube is in my bio. My YouTube link is listed in my bio. Now, like I said, children spend more time in N3 for growth and development. Now, there are different changes across age groups in this stage. So that's the main stage that you would see different age groups spending different amount of time. Now, moving on to the REM sleep. Now, REM sleep would occupy about 25% of total sleep time. Okay. In this stage, it is characterized by what we call rapid eye movement. There is a lot of brain activity in this stage, but the muscles are paralyzed. Okay, talking about brain activity, we also talked about that in the previous lecture, so go back and watch it. But pretty much the brain is very active during REM sleep while the body is paralyzed. Now, REM sleep is also the stage where people tend to dream a lot. Now, if you're deficient in REM stage or REM stage of sleep, memory can be affected. Now, moving ahead in this class, we're going to talk about different sleep disorders that affect different stages of sleep. There are disorders, medications, substances that affect each and every stage, including the wakefulness stage. And so those we're going to be touching along the way as we talk more and as we take on more classes. That's all I have for you guys today. Do well to go back to the previous courses to get to know more about some of these things that we touched on today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.